Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Definitely appreciate the support. I want to make a quick video on RPOs. I've been noticing that a lot of people have been struggling with it, okay? And here's the problem with RPOs. You guys know 422031, right? Okay, it's a sequence I put together a while ago to kind of structure defense for me to see things better. Okay, and no matter what defense you play in the game, it's going to fall under one of these 6 different shell coverages. So the good thing about this is you've condensed every single play in every single playbook. It's going to fall under one of these 6. Okay, and the problem with RPOs in Madden is your best bet with defending RPOs and not running into major issues against it is to play cover 1. Okay, and I believe 2-man as well. And what's the problem with that? The problem is that's not a diverse palette to deal with it, okay? So, for instance, if you wanted to be a beast in Madden, I've said this before in previous Maddens. If you played against a guy who ran a lot of different RPOs and knew which ones to run and against what fronts, you would have a lot of problems because you don't have a lot of different things you could deal with it. Right? If I could force it to where you have to play cover 1 or 2-man all game to defend that action on the outside, well, now I've simplified my reads as an offense and I can attack the weaknesses of 2-man. I've made videos on that. Okay, and then I can attack the weaknesses of cover 1. What if you don't have the dudes on the outside that can match up with our guys and you're forced to play cover 1 man? You're just going to get torched all game, right? So the problem with Madden is they don't give us the tools, and now your opponent is able to dictate you to play those coverages. And if you don't, and you play something like this, then we can just run RPOs all game, right? But I found an adjustment in the game to make them play the way they're supposed to play against RPOs, at least closer to it. And what do I mean by closer? Now, also, I want to say, too, it's hard for me to leave things. If you play 2-man, they can run RPOs on you, right? The only thing that 2-man does is it kind of relieves the run-pass conflict of the defenders on the outside, right? So if we were to run this action, you really couldn't throw this because he'd be man up with this guy, and I don't think he would have a run fit in the box. But the problem with 2-man is now you have 2 deep safeties, and now you're soft in a box, so we could still run RPOs. We just wouldn't throw this action, but we just run the ball. Okay, so that's what I mean by cover 1 man is really the only one that provides, I would say, the most, your best bet in defending RPOs in Madden until this video. Okay, so, let's get into something really quickly. This is cover 4 quarters, okay? And theoretically, the way quarters is, regular quarters, an RPO like this would be a major problem for this defense. This would be a weakness of quarters coverage, okay? And it's good to understand this because, okay, in regular quarters, he's reading 2 to 1, he's reading 1 to 2, and then you have the quarter flat defender here. He's a match 2 out. That's what's most important here. Match 2 out. In other words, if this guy goes out, well, he's got to match it, okay? Well, the problem is this defender here also has a run fit. In other words, if we have a run, then I have to fit my gap. And right away, you could see the problem here. This is one of just the beautiful thing about football when you're trying to attack. There's a number of different things you're trying to do, get a numbers advantage and etc. But one way you want to attack a defense is to put defenders in a conflict, right? Okay, when we snap the ball and it looks like we're about to hand this off, he's conflicted with, oh, and then also we're sending this guy to the flat, right? That's your responsibility in the passing game, right? To match 2 out. However, you're supposed to fit the run, okay? So when we snap the ball and it looks like it's about to hand off and he steps in at all, well, now we can throw our guy to the flat and he would just block him. You'd be out leveraged, and then now you have a problem here, right? This is how you can attack regular quarters coverage with RPOs. It can be a major problem against quarters coverage. Also, I always throw this in here when I go over this stuff. Another way to attack quarters coverage, theoretically, it may not be as open in Madden, but theoretically, this guy running the out, it's going to be really hard for this guy to cover it because he has to play with inside leverage to have better leverage on defending the run on the inside. If you can imagine if he was outside leveraged, like here, it would be easier for this guy to seal him off, right? And harder for him to fit his gap, right? So I'll leave it at that. I believe, did I show that here? Let's see what happens here. So I made this clip a while ago, and I'm trying to re-record it now. Now, so again, let's go to 4-2-2-0 real quick. 4-2 zone, 2-man. Now, theoretically, in real life, this is not true, where you have to play cover 1 man to play RPOs. That is just not the case. Okay, they do a number of different things to deal with it. But let's get into palms coverage, right? So you have regular quarters and you have palms coverage. And a lot of people may know the responsibilities in both of these, but you may not know why you would call a palms coverage, right? So in palms coverage against a 2x2 set, he's reading 2-1, right? But the corner here, I'll put the numbers here. The corner here is also reading 2-1. They call this a trap coverage or 2 read, okay? And I'll put him as palms curl player, okay? So basically what's going on is if this guy goes vertical, I'm reading 2-1. Is 2 vertical? Yes. Then I man him up man to man, and that ends his process, okay? This corner here is reading 2-1 as well. When 2 is vertical, well then now I know the safety has him man to man, and now I'm taking 1 vertical, right? So if you were to snap the ball and you would watch this on film, you know, it would probably be hard to tell that we were actually playing palms in that quarters coverage because it looks the same based upon the route distribution, right? But where palms changes, right? And this is what's most important about a coverage like this and why you would use it theoretically in real life. If this guy goes out, right? Okay, remember he's reading 2-1, he's reading 2-1. 1-2. Okay, I'm reading 2-1. Is 2 vertical? No, he's going out. Well, when he goes out, I don't have him, right? And then I get my eyes on 1 and I'm taking 1 man to man. Okay? The corner here is reading 2-1. When 2 goes out, well, now I have him. I take it, right? I have that route man to man, and as you see, he has better leverage to the outside on a route like this. Okay? Now, the reason why, if you take a look at this player here, remember in regular quarters coverage, he was a match 2 out player, right? So if he goes out, he would take him man to man, right? And I also have a run fit. Well, in palms coverage, he's not a match 2 out player anymore. And the reason why he isn't is because, remember, the corner now has 2 out, right? So if 2 goes out, then I don't have him. And then he would turn into a regular curl player in the pass distribution. But where this benefits this player so much is it allows him to be a lot more aggressive in his run fit, right? In regular quarters coverage, he has to match 2 out. So at the snap of the ball, if he sees this action, he has to make a decision, right? Well, I have him to the out, but I also have this run fit, so what do? Well, we're just abusing this guy, right? You go out, we hand it off, right? Now we have a numbers advantage in the box. So let's do just regular inside zone, right? And snap the ball, and we're just looking at this player, and when he steps out, we're good in the box, and we just hand it off, right? On the flip side of that, we snap the ball, and you crash in, right? Well, now we have a disadvantage in the box. However, in regular quarters coverage, we would just throw this RPO there, right? He would block him, and if he get outside, that would be a major problem. Well, lo and behold, this is why we run palms, right? Because now when you go out on your out or your flat, he doesn't care because that's not my responsibility, so I'm not put in the conflict anymore. All right, so when I see this action, I can hard fit the run knowing that I'm not responsible for this guy going out, right? So this, again, trap coverage, right? The quarter, let's call this RPO because we know that they play quarters, right? Snap the ball, up, he's crashing in, right? We can throw this little out here. We throw it, but he's aggressively attacking that, right? And this is why, one of the reasons why you would call a coverage like palms over quarters. It's better fit for the RPO. Not only is he attacking that out action there to the flatter out, but we also relieve the pressure of this second defender in, and he can fit the run a lot more aggressively. Okay, so let's see what else I have here. Oh, okay, so you might say, okay, good. Now I know what to do in Madden. I'm going to go in Madden, and when I run into RPOs, I'm going to call palms coverage. And guess what? It doesn't work. Okay, so I've said this numerous times in previous videos. Madden doesn't have it coded right. And you want to know what is most disgraceful about that is, I'm going to leave a link. Hopefully I can find the video. But there was a guy who was a developer, or in the Madden rooms, he was dealing with, he was actually one of the guys who was putting in the different coverages of Madden. He started making videos in like Madden 19 or Madden 20. And he went over quarters and palms, okay? And the reason why I'm saying this is because this proves that they're not incompetent. There's something else wrong. Either they're lazy, they don't care, whatever, right? They know that palms is better fit for the RPO. So I'll leave a link. You can go watch the video. He's not with Madden anymore. I think they got rid of him for whatever reason. But he went over why you would run palms. Hey, he said in the video, hey, if you want to know why you run palms, it's because we're starting to put RPOs in the game, and this is why you would want to run something like this, right? Because I remember watching those videos a while ago, okay? So it's not like they don't know that palms would be better fit for this. They know it is. It's just that they refuse to code it right. So what happens in Madden, you can try it out. You can call palms, you can run this action, and no matter what, this guy is not going to fit aggressively on the RPO here, okay? So let's see what I have here. So I figured out an adjustment to play RPOs way better while playing a coverage like this. So really quickly, again, use the timestamps, but I don't want you to miss this because I do think it's important. When you call palms against trips tight end flex, okay, you got to remember where the bubble is. He's meg on this guy, and then there's a bubble here, okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We'll do the bubble here. Okay. So he's mag. So it's X out theory, right? We're not worried about him. I'm reading 3 to 2. I'm reading 3 to 2, and then he's our inside player here. Okay. So it's the same thing. It's just that we've moved the bubble inside. This is how palms plays against a 3x1 set on this side, okay? Or this is what they call Stubbie, okay? And the reason why I threw this in here is because, you have Stubbie in the Nick Saban world. That's what they call this, palms. They call it Stubbie against trip sets, all right? And they call it because it's better fit for RPOs. This is what teams do. We're going to play a quarters coverage, but we're going to play Stubbie to better fit for that RPO stuff. So if you think about it, if we were to run, you guys have seen this RPO in the game, right? Well, what's supposed to happen? Well, we relieve the pressure of you so you can fit the run when you see this action. And if they throw this guy's aggressively attacking this, right? So again, this is the point of palms coverage. One of the other problems with Madden is that in real life, the leverage of this player, he's supposed to play with outside leverage here when you're playing Stubbie. Okay, so I think I have a clip of this before I get to the adjustment that I figured out. Okay, so why don't we do it really quickly? We're going to do block, you go out, RPO. We're trying to put him in a conflict, but they don't know that we are in palms, right? So I'm reading 3 to 2, and if 3 goes out, then I attack it. If 3 goes vertical, then I get my eyes on 2, and I'm taking 2 vertical because I know the safety's taking 3 vertical. But when 3 goes out, I have to attack this. The problem here is his alignment. Notice how he's inside leverage. Okay, so even though you are supposed to attack this aggressively due to the out, when we snap the ball, you see how it's easier for me to seal this guy off and get to the outside. This is my opinion, right? I think it would be better fit for him to be on the outside. Let's imagine he was here, outside leverage. And when he sees that action, he can attack outside shoulder here. The reason being that if, he does get the ball inside, he can't get outside, and we have like pursuit coming from the inside, right? So I believe that's why they align him on the outside. I have to go check that out. But just know that in Madden, they align him inside, and I think that's inferior to how it's supposed to be played when you play Stubbie, right? But I'll leave it at that. And we'll get into what I found while playing Madden for this to work. So this is what I've done in the past. I'm telling you, I ran palms against a guy 2 years ago or whatever it was. He was running this very same RPO from this formation. I was running quarters coverage, and then it hit me. I'm like, hey, I can run palms here, and this should be able to attack this. And when I ran it, it didn't work, right? So it pissed me off. I went to the practice field, and I tried to figure out why this guy wasn't attacking. So then I did something like this. I moved him to the outside shoulder to see if it would work, and lo and behold, it doesn't work, right? So I just wanted you guys to know that theoretically, I think when they play Stubbie, he always plays outside leverage of the number 2. Now, really quickly, one of you guys, because I made a video on that before, one of you guys stated, okay, with him outside leverage, though, if they were to run a route combination, let's do something like this, right? What would be the problem here, right? I'm reading 3-2, so what's going to happen? He's going to take this vertical. He's going to run with this because he's mag, and now I'm taking this vertical, right? And you stated, and you were 100% right. I don't know who it was, right? You stated, well, then this guy would be in trouble here because he's playing outside leverage here, and it'd be easier for this guy to run like a deep inside breaking route. As long as you run the number 3 to clear this guy, then you have a potential problem here. And you're correct. That would be one of the weaknesses of this coverage. I don't think it's heavily exaggerated that he plays with outside leverage this far out, but I'm just showing this for you guys to see, that he's supposed to play with outside leverage, right? And yes, that would be a potential weakness in the coverage because every coverage has a weakness, right? But that's where you pair it with other coverages to cloak the weakness of that coverage. And I believe they have a coverage called Seattle, where you align outside, and we're still running the same Stubbie type deal on this side with the same assignments, but it changes in the pass responsibilities, okay? And when this guy goes vertical, well, now he takes some man-to-man inside leverage, right? And when he goes vertical, well, now I take him man-to-man outside leverage. And with him taking inside leverage of the number 3, it frees up this player, and he will just midpoint the 2. And that's how you would deal with that problem, right? So, it was good that you said that, right? But it's good to know, hey, there's a potential way as an offense. If they were running something like this, you may think, hey, we can attack that way. And then on the flip side of that, as a defense, if you notice them doing that, well, then there's a coverage that they put together to deal with that problem, right? So we still keep the same leverage that we want, right? And then we cloak the weakness of that coverage if you're running a concept like this, right? Now we can run Seattle, right? Now again, it's a layering thing. Well, how would you attack Seattle, right? Why don't I leave that alone because I'm just going over the rails. It's really bad. So we'll just move on and we'll get to what I want to show. So I believe this is me moving them over. Okay, let's see here. This is me showing how to do it. And notice how he didn't play it the way you would want him to play it. All right, so this is the adjustment you got to do that makes them play RPOs so much more aggressively, and you don't have to be in cover 1 to do it. You can be in coverages that are really designed to play RPOs. And it's a simple adjustment. All you do is show blitz. So yes, I wasted your time. I don't know how long the video has been, but use the timestamps. You probably just got here now. All you do is show blitz. And I want you to watch the drastic difference in how the RPOs are played. It was amazing. I did this in a game. I wasn't trying to stop an RPO. I just showed blitz for whatever reason. I was playing like a cover 2, and he ran some RPO, and I noticed how aggressively they were fitting that RPO on the outside when he threw it. And I was in shock. And I was like, wait a minute. Did that actually happen? And I went to practice field, and lo and behold, you'll see some examples of this. So you show blitz, and I want you to watch how aggressively they attack this, right? So here's the RPO. And look how we get 2 yards there. And look how aggressively they were attacking this. So here's a replay. Right? So you could see during that action that he wasn't floating inside. He was actually pinning down hard. And our outside guy is pinning down hard as well. And look at the safety. Everyone's fitting to the flow of the ball. And we get a tackle. So we're going to continue to play with this because that's what I did here. And I'm like, well, what if, you know what? How about this? Because now I know how it's supposed to play. What if I do move him outside and we show blitz? Right? So I started doing that. I think I messed up here. I think I should have put him on the LOS. And notice how I was showing blitz and he wasn't moving. So I think this will not count. I think I was messing something up there. I think that's just the regular way it plays. And you see how horrible it was. Now this is the show blitz. There we go. Show blitz. I move him outside. Look at that. You see the major difference. It's not even close. It's not even close, right? And you can see why outside leverage would be so much better here, right? Right? So he snapped the ball. We'll take a look at this. And look how he's you would want him to attack this already, right? So that's just the game, but it still plays it a lot better. And now he has outside arm free. And we have help coming from the inside. And how many yards did we get there? None. So I believe I ran it again. So I wanted to see how good it plays. And I mean, look, I mean, it's not a fluke. You show blitz and they fit the RPO. Look at that. It's amazing. Okay. So after that, I'm like, all right, let me go to a 2x2 set, right? What's supposed to happen in a 2x2 set when you play palms, right? You're reading 2 to 1. You're reading 2 to 1, right? So with this action, what is he supposed to do? Match the out, right? Attack it aggressively. I think some coaches teach not to play it aggressively. Some have them inside, and they wait for the ball to be thrown to attack it. But I think in Madden they're supposed to attack it aggressively. It just doesn't happen, okay? And I ran it against 2x2 sets, and it was not working, right? So I'll show you. This is the regular way. Obviously, this is horrible. Our corner is not matching the out aggressively there at all. So this is the show blitz. And we see that's not good enough. So I'm like, all right, so I've noticed in 3x1 sets running Stubbie and palms and showing blitz, it does work, right? But against 2x2 sets, I didn't like how it was playing it, right? You see how the corner just backs up? So that's to show blitz. And is this where I changed it to something else? I think so. No, this is still quarters palms. Right? That's not good enough. Okay, so that's why I replayed that, because that pissed me off. We'll watch it really quickly. It shows how, like, the game is just, like, so wrong in so many areas. Because when we're running palms, even when stuff like this happens in favor of you, right, in favor of me in a game, it pisses me off because I know it's wrong, right? So what's the whole point of running palms? We relieve the run-pass conflict of this player, so when he sees this action, he can aggressively fit his run. That's the point, right? But for whatever reason, when we run the show blitz here, he's not fitting the gap at all, right? He's not even fitting it. He's feathering in between both of these, which is probably the worst of both worlds. And then when we throw it, he attacks it aggressively, right? But he's not supposed to. It's really supposed to be him to be aggressively like attacking this, right? So it just goes to show you the poor coding logic of Madden. And stuff like that is just kind of like irritating, but it is what it is. All right, so we'll move on, and I think this is where I show what you can do against 2x2 sets. I don't know why I put this in such slow motion. I think because I was so pissed at how you see how he should be fitting the run here, right? To where you can't throw that because we're not worried about this, because he should be aggressively playing that. But it is what it is. I just want to get to the point here. I'm very bad at this. I'm so sorry. Why did I have that so slow? Let's move on. And here is the solution right here. So against 2x2 sets, you call cover 2 if you're dealing with RPO stuff. Against 3x1 sets, you call cover 4. I haven't tried Tampa 2 against 3x1 sets with the show blitz, but you may be able to. But I'm telling you right now, 2x2 sets, if you're getting RPO stuff, you're calling Tampa 2 and you're showing blitz. And watch how much better they fit the RPO, okay? And, you know, it makes sense because this guy is a, you know, force type defender. Okay. RPO, something like this, I don't think should be too great on the outside. The problem is this guy is a, I believe he's in the run fit. So if he fits in there and he's able to get a good block on this guy, we could have a potential problem. But the way he is so aggressive on that action, you'll see it. When you show blitz, look how he's attacking outside shoulder here. Like he's attacking. Right? So we got like 3 yards there, 3 or 4 yards. This slow motion stuff has got to stop. So I ran it again. Watch what happens. He stonewalls this guy. We really don't like him fitting in, but it is what it is. And he just rocks this guy's world. So that's what you got to do, guys. A simple adjustment. You know, it's right under our nose. You got to show blitz. So that way, now we're not stuck sitting in, being forced to play stuff like cover 1 man to have a chance against an RPO like demon, right? You can play 2 zone. You can play palms coverage, right? You have more options, and that's the way it should be. Right. Oh, also cover 0. I'm sorry. I should have said this earlier. Cover 0 is something you can play against RPO stuff. But I'm pretty sure you can tell the problem with that, right? If you are forced to only play 2-man cover 0 and cover 1 against RPOs, now they force it to where you're in man-to-man coverage, right? They kind of dictate what you're playing. You want to be able to play a variety of different things and still function, right? So now we can play for 2 zones, 0 or 1. Okay, and we can still function and actually play RPOs so much better. So I believe I haven't ran into a lot. Well, actually I have. I ran into some people running RPOs online since I've known this, and I've had no problems with RPOs at all, right? It's aggressive against it, and I've been dealing with it rather well. I don't know why I have this video in here, because this is not an RPO stuff. But how many times have you ran into a guy who ran this formation, okay, where they have some action going this way and then they have the RPO backside? I ran into a guy, I should have recorded the whole game. I think I messed up and didn't record the whole game. He ran this same play 90% of the game, and he just could not function because I played cover 2, I showed blitz, and I was using the safety, and I found the right slant to better fit the run, and he just could not throw this over here again because of the way we play the fit the RPO now aggressively. Again, show blitz, and there you go. So I think this is a clip of me. I found One of you guys asked the question. You said, "Hey, how do you know?" Because I said something in a previous video that when you're dealing with a run, a lot of times you're fine on the back end with what you called. A lot of times just slanting a different way to change the run fits can change everything in the play, and you can fit the run a lot better. And one of you guys asked, well, how do you know which way to fit the run in a game? I don't, right? What happens is, and that's what happened with this guy, he just kept running this play, and he would get 5 yards on the run, 7 yards on the run, 8 yards on the run, right? And each play, I would slant a different way or make a different alignment with the linebackers until I finally found the one that just shut it down to where he got contact behind the line of scrimmage or contact 1 yard in front of the line of scrimmage, etc. And then now I know the configuration to deal with it from this play call. And then I just ran that the rest of the game, and he couldn't do shit, right? Yeah, so this is me knowing the set now. Look how we're fitting over here. Yeah, I mean, he couldn't do shit, right? He was just all over his ass. What I do also is when I show blitz, I move this guy just a little bit because I don't want the safety too far down on the 2 receiver side. And then I'll manually move this guy a little bit outside because I want him to fit hard on this action here, right? A lot of times when people call a formation like this, I just expect the RPO action. And 90% of the time, that's what they're doing. I don't think he threw this one time the entire game, but I knew he was looking for it, but he just would never throw it, right? So I think I will leave it at that, guys. I hope you got something from this video. I know it was probably pretty long, but I always like to give like the concept and theory side of things. So you kind of like, for those of you who don't know, you would know the whys of something, because when you know why something is, as opposed to just this is what you do, you just become better in the long run at understanding what you need to do to deal with the problem, right? Or understanding why you would call palms as opposed to quarters. That way, when they do get it right in the future, you'll know the answer to a problem in the middle of a game. All right, so I'll leave it at that. Hope you got something from this video, and I hope you keep coming back for more, man. Peace.